اليوم بحلقتنا الخاصة البست اوف لسيزن استراليا رح نرجع نكتشف سوا احلى مقتطفات للشخصيات الاسترالية من اصل لبناني اللي حوارتها بسيدني وملبورن، ورح نكتشف شو رأيهم باسماء من التاريخ قبل الانترفيوز، ورح يكون عنا وقفة خاصة مع وزير استرالي ورأيه بالجالية اللبنانية باستراليا. نتعرف بالفقرة الأولى على الوزير السابق فيليب رادوك اللي لعب دور كتير مهم بالمجتمع الأسترالي السياسي والاجتماعي، وأيضاً كان بمثابة صديق للبنانية المغتربين.
Mr. Philip Raddock, you are the Special Envoy for Human Rights. You were born in Canberra in 1943. And they call you the father of the House of Representatives and the father of Parliament. Why?
Well, it's just because I served the second longest in Australia's history. The Member of Parliament who joined the Parliament in 1901 and lived all his life, the rest of his life, in Parliament, died in 1952, and his record was the one I'd have to have overtaken if I was to remain in the Parliament that long. But no, look, nobody else has served in the Australian Parliament as long as Billy Hughes and Philip Ruddock. But I am no longer the father of the House. There is a new father. But I was the father of the House until I resigned.
And why did you resign after such a long time?
Well, one had to make a decision as to how you can make a difference. And for me, I had been able to serve as a minister for 7.5 years, as Immigration Minister. I'd been Indigenous Affairs Minister. I'd been the Attorney General of Australia. When we went into opposition, I was the chief, I was Cabinet Secretary for a time, and later I was the Chief Government Whip. And I had to ask myself last year, whether I was going to be able to contribute significantly to the nation if I remained in the Parliament, or whether I could help the nation more through this new role that was offered to me by the Foreign Minister. And Australia wants to play a significant part as a member of the Human Rights Council of the United Nations in advancing parliamentary democracy, the rule of law, freedom of the press, issues relating to women and girls, Indigenous rights, human rights institutions. All of these matters about which we have a passionate desire to pursue can be best pursued if we're in a leadership position. And my task is to help get Australia into that role.
It's beautiful because you had so many positions, different one from the others, and you achieved so many things. I think you should be an example to our Lebanese politicians, because I know how close you are to the Lebanese diaspora in Australia, and especially in Sydney, and how close you are to the Lebanese people and to the Lebanese politicians.
So what I say to young Australians when they talk about being in the Australian Parliament is that they should come to serve and not to serve themselves. It's a very short expression as to the sort of encouragement that I give to young Australians. Not all come to serve. Some do come to serve themselves.
It happens in Australia too.
It happens. It happens.
But it's rare.
No, I think it's a factor for some and not for others. I am one who encourages service. I would say to people in Lebanon, I am sure the same challenges confront you as confront us. And it is best to identify those people who come to serve.
I know that we will be speaking about Lebanon much more, but I would like to know, how did you start your political career, knowing that you were a member of the Liberal Party and they supported you all the way?
Look, in Australia, we've had a parliament for just over 100 years. Do you know how many people have actually served in the Australian Parliament in that time?
No.
1,500. So when you've got a population of millions of people, the opportunity to serve in the Parliament is rare. And I say to young Australians, if you want to be in politics, that's fine, but you should prepare yourself for a career that may not involve politics. I prepared myself by studying law, and I became a partner of a law firm in Sydney. And so when I was selected for the Parliament in 1973, I had been a partner of a law firm for a number of years in the city. I'd been active in the party organisation. People had had the opportunity to see me, to assess whether I had skills and talents that might be useful. And I had to stand against 30 other people to be selected as my party's candidate, and it was a fairly tough contest.
What were your achievements in your different positions as Member of Parliament, as Minister of Immigration, as General Attorney, and today as Special Envoy of Human Rights?
Well, let me deal with the first. The most difficult moment for me in public life was 1988, when within my own party there was a difference of view as to the way in which the immigration program might be conducted in the future. And I have an in-principle view that our immigration program should always be non-discriminatory in terms of race, religion and culture. And Australia, I think, has been an example to the rest of the world.
Indeed.
And when it was suggested that we might change from within our own party, I had to decide whether I continued in the party or whether I separated myself from my colleagues, and I crossed the floor and voted with the opposition. It was a very notable event at the time. It was seen to be undermining my party leader, and I thought it meant an end of my political career. In the end, it didn't happen. We had changes in leadership. I was given other opportunities to serve. I was Shadow Minister for a time, both as Shadow Minister for Immigration and also Social Security. When we came into office, John Howard had come back as party leader, and he decided that he wanted to put once and for all an end to the view that the Liberal Party might have non-discriminatory policies. So I was chosen to be Immigration Minister and left there for 7.5 years, because everybody knew that I would run a program that was absolutely non-discriminatory. But immigration is about nation building.
Of course.
And it's about putting in place Australia's building blocks for the future. And the assertion I make is that because we have been able to bring people with skills that we need, people who have close family relationships, because we help refugees and people who need help because of their circumstances abroad, we have been a unique contributor. We have more people overseas born in Australia than you have in all but 2 other countries in the world, Israel and Luxembourg. We have more than they do in the United States, more than they do in Canada. If cultural diversity, if people of mixed ancestry, mixed race was a problem, we should have the most significant problems in the world. But we don't. And it's because we have encouraged all Australians to settle well. We are an inclusive society. And for me, putting in place those building blocks and justifying those programs was a key role. When I was Attorney General, we faced the first significant terrorism events impacting on Western countries. We saw the tragedy of 9/11 in the United States. We had to put in place laws that were going to be cognizant of people's human rights, but are going to secure for Australians their personal safety and security. And I was charged, because I was the head of the security agency as well as Attorney General, of ensuring that objective was met. And we have been remarkably free of terrorist activities in Australia. There are people whom we have identified as intent on carrying out such acts, people who've gone abroad to fight, but remarkably we've had few incidents here in Australia.
Yes.
Now, for me, that was an important role, but I didn't want to be remembered as Attorney General without securing other important reforms. And I secured reforms to our family law system, personal property security, defamation laws, and for me, to be able to be a legislator who was seen as a reformer was particularly important.
You are very close to the Lebanese diaspora, as I said before. How this relationship started, and I know that you have visited Lebanon many, many times. Sometimes it was official visits, sometimes it was just for holidays with some friends, Lebanese friends. How did you meet your first Lebanese friend, if we can say? And I know that you are very close to Lebanese politicians too.
Well, let me just deal with it first. Historically, I live in an area in the hills northwest of Sydney, and there's a place called Thornlea. And around Thornlea there were some families who had settled perhaps 50 years ago, maybe even more, 60 years ago, 70. One of the families were the Baineys, and old Mr. Tony Bainey essentially encouraged other people from the village of Ban to come and settle in this region. And so around Thornlea, where we've got our own church, St George's, most of the people settled from a very tiny village in the Gadisha Valley called Ban. And in this area, because my father was involved in the local authority, he was at one point in time the mayor, these people knew my family. And so from the time I was in my early teens, I was mixing with people who were from Ban. They lived around the corner from us, next door to us, in the same street as us. We used to be entertained, and we used to help each other. When I became a Member of Parliament first in 1973, I was elected in a different area. It was called Parramatta. And the people from Parramatta came primarily from Blausa and Forosgur, again in the Gadisha Valley. There were some others there. There was a very delightful man called Karim Kisawani who was from Jazeen. And there were many people that I got to know well when I was first selected as the member for Parramatta. And over time you continued to build up linkages and friendships. And of course when I became a minister, you had to meet people from different backgrounds all over Australia. And I started to find that there were more than Maronite Christians from the Gadisha Valley. We have many Sunni, many Shia, many amongst the Christians, many Melkites, Orthodox, particularly Antiochian and others. And, you know, I guess I've got to understand something of the diversity of Lebanon amongst the settlers that we have here in Australia.
Indeed, it's a small Lebanon in Australia.
Very much.
Yeah. And what is your opinion about the Lebanese diaspora in Australia?
Well, they've been remarkable settlers. And people don't often know the people who have settled and succeeded. For instance, we have a Member of Parliament at the moment called Bob Katter. Now, it's not Bob Katter. His father was Bob Qatar. And of course, he was from Bishari. And old Bob Katter used to tell me that he still had land in Bishari. Young Bob is not necessarily as committed to his antecedents, but, you know, he is now third, fourth generation.
Yes.
And if you look at a very grand family here in New South Wales, they came very early in the piece. You know, not the last century, the century before. Marie Bashir, who became the governor of this state.
Of course.
Her husband, Sanigala Shahidi, who became the Deputy Lord Mayor of Sydney and was knighted. You know, they were Lebanese settlers who had been here for a very, very long time. If you go to Victoria, you find another premier in Steve Bracks,
Of course.
and I think he comes from
Zahli.
Zahli.
Yes.
You're right.
Yeah.
At the start of the Bekaa Valley,
Indeed.
we were talking about it only the other night. And so what I do know is that we've had people who have settled here hundreds of years ago and have been enormously successful, have made significant contributions to Australia, and now we have more recent arrivals. And what we're seeing is them putting down roots, establishing their families in businesses, in the professions, and equally starting to contribute in exactly the same way as those who came centuries ago.
Yeah. So they are contributing also to the economic and political Australian system.
Very much so. But look, I mean, it ought not to be seen as surprising. I mean, we take the view that if people settle in Australia, they should become as much Australian as everybody else. We don't ask them to forget their culture,
Of course not.
their homeland, but we do ask them to make a commitment to this country.
Yeah.
And what greater commitment can you make than to become a governor or be a premier, to provide significant leadership roles? And Australia recognises that the people that we have do come from diverse backgrounds, and we take them as they are, and they're able to contribute in exactly the same way. And isn't that marvellous?
It is marvellous, and they're so happy. As I was interviewing many Lebanese or Australian from Lebanese descent, they were only talking good things about Australia and about how free is the system, and that the laws do respect them as citizens, as any born Australian.
And as it should.
Yes,
And you asked me about my role as the Envoy for Human Rights. What I want to do
Yes, of course.
is to share with people around the world that if you are prepared to be inclusive, it can work very positively.
Beautiful. I know that you have visited Lebanon, as I said, and you know every part of Lebanon, from the south to the north to the Bekaa, and it was a beautiful trip around our tiny country. What are your best memories? What does Lebanon represent to you as a country, I mean?
Well, look, I mean, I focus very much on Lebanon at the moment because of the challenge it faces with what has happened
In Syria. Indeed.
And the impact upon the economy and the extent to which Lebanon is a generous host
Of course.
in
With more than
enormous
2 million
difficulties.
Syrian
Yes,
refugees.
absolutely, absolutely. That is etched in my memory more than anything else that you could imagine. I've had the opportunity of walking in the Bekaa and seeing people trying to eke out an existence on some of the farms. I have seen the impact that this is having in great cities like Tripoli, like Beirut. I have seen the way in which Lebanon has been rebuilt. I mean, when I went back there in the 90s, and so much of it was still damaged, to be able to see the way in which Beirut has been rebuilt. Not yet entirely, but largely.
Much of it.
But largely.
Yes.
You know, for me, those opportunities are unique. Look, I know for many it's the cedars and being able to focus on skiing in the winter and then coming down and lying on the beach in the Mediterranean in the afternoon. It makes it very unique. But look, I find Lebanon very much a home away from home. You are so welcome when you go there, and I have been made welcome by people all over Lebanon, and I've had the opportunity to see most of it.
So do you think Lebanon is a blessing or a curse?
Well, I think it's a blessing to the rest of the world. Look, I know the impact that others who sometimes bring their conflicts create. And we're seeing some of that even now. But I think left to its own devices, free of those external influences, Lebanon could be very much an example to the rest of the world. Look, for me, I think the events of the 1970s and the impact that they had have made people very wary of going back to the past. That, I think, makes Lebanon a very much more special place today.
Yeah, and so much of interest to the big other countries, I mean, like the United States, like Russia, like Iran.
Well, I'm not sure that they play it all together in a dispassionate way. I think they sometimes have interests of their own
In our
that
land.
they seek to exploit. And I'm not a great fan of that. Look, I mean, Syria, in my view, would have been able to be resolved if Russia, the United States, Europe, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, all agreed that they should work to a solution rather than an outcome that they think will advantage them.
Indeed, indeed. You have a last word that you would like to say to all your Lebanese audience today in Lebanon, in Australia, and in all the parts of the world.
Well, I'm just very proud of the linkages that I've had. Lebanon is extraordinarily special, and I've had to have linkages with people from all over the world, in Asia, in South America, in Africa, in Europe, but no country has had the same impact upon me and my family that Lebanon has had. And it's one of the reasons that I share its pleasures, but I also agonise with my friends when they face some of the unique challenges that they do.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Pleasure.
Fraddock, for your time, for welcoming us in your house in Sydney, and I hope to see you soon in Lebanon.
Thank you
and
very
hand
much.
in hand, of course, we can hope for a better Lebanon.
Here we are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I was extremely pleased with the interview because I thought it might just be about my political career and going through achievements or things that didn't happen, but to have such a comprehensive interview about, you know, the origins of my family, where they came from, how they settled here, how we integrated and worked in Australia over a long period of time, and to talk about some of the personal aspects which I think are very important, because that's really what the story of Lebanon is about. And the Lebanese aren't just the people in Lebanon, they're the people from all over the world, the majority of which have settled in other countries, including Australia. So I thought it was great, great from my point of view. It drew more out of me as a former governor, former premier of the state of Victoria, and I feel better that this story has now been told. Well done and congratulations.
بعد ما عملت الانترفيو مثل كل خبرة الإنسان قبل ما بيكون قادم على خبرة معينة بيكون مش عارف شو رح تكون هالخبرة وشو فوائدها، ولكن بعد ما عملت الانترفيو اتضحت أكثر لإلي الصورة، وهيك كنت فرح إنه عملت الانترفيو، وخصوصا إنه كريم بستاني عندها لياقة ولباقة مع بالحوار، وبتحاور من منطلقات عدة، وعندها شيء خاص يمكن فيها إنه مع الشخص اللي عم تعمل معه انترفيو بيقول اشياء هيك يمكن اوقات بمواقع كثير تاني ما بيقولها، وبتدخل ضمن اطار العام تبع هالمقابله اللي بتكون عم بتقوم فيها. لذلك بحب ارجع اقول انه انا فرح انه رجعت هالانترفيو صارت، وهالبرنامج انه رح يكون لي حضور بهالبرنامج.
والحقيقه بعد ما جيتوا وشفناكم وتعرفنا عليكم وشفنا برنامجكم الشيق الحلو، بنتمنى يعني كل مدة قصيرة نشوفكم ونعمل برنامج. وصار هلا بالوقت نفسه البرنامج بالنسبة لنا صار مثل قونة بصدرنا، صرنا نتفرج عليه كل يوم أو كل ما انعرض.
أسماء من التاريخ بالفعل وقت عرفنا انه رح يطلع لنا انترفيو مع كارين، بالفعل my expectations were high لانه البروجرام نحن كنا familiar فيه، كنا بنحضره وكنا بنتابعه، والبروجرام نعتبره نحن asset للمغترب اللبناني وللوطن بذات الوقت. وبالفعل كان very professional. الأسئلة اللي سألت، طريقة التنظيم البروجرام كله first class and world class. أنا بهني كارين وبهني البروجرام وبهني كمان الإكيب اللي عمل معها كلهم فردا. And I'm very happy إنه قبلت أعمل الانترفيو لأنه not only exciting but very beneficial للمغتربين وللبنان.
I must say when the interview was concluded, I was very pleased because it did give a really good opportunity for me to explain all of the wonderful things that are occurring here in New South Wales, in Australia, in particular in relation to my portfolios of ageing, disability, youth, multiculturalism and volunteering. Can I also say that the host of the program made me feel very comfortable with the questions that were being asked and the way she was able to assist me in bringing out the information.
الحقيقة كنت كتير يعني مرتاح بهالمقابلة، وتفاجأت إنه كارين قدرت إنها تقوم بهيدي المقابلة من دون أي تحضير مسبق. يعني أنا معود إنه بيكون في تحضير قبل وأسئلة عديدة قبل ما يتم مقابلة بهيدا المجال. يعني بقى كنت كتير متفاجئ ومعجب بأسلوب كارين وبمستوى خبرتها في هذا المجال. بقى مشكورة، يعني شكراً لأنك سهلتي المهمة.
I was expecting, like many Australian programs, that the interview would be brief, that it would focus predominantly on political issues, but I was very pleasantly surprised that the interview actually looked at some of the more philosophical and deeply felt emotions that me and my family had, not only in my father coming to Australia, but the things that motivated me to get into politics. So it's been nice to have an interview that's gone much more in depth and has really, I think, captured why I've entered politics here in Australia and what has made Lebanese around the world so successful. So it's been a wonderful process and a wonderful interview today.
بشكرك كثير كارين، مش كثير من القلب على هالمقابلة الحلوة المثقفة اللي أخذنا منها وتعلمنا منها الكثير. ندعي لك التوفيق من القلب لأنه برنامج بكبر القلب.
كانت سيدني تستقطب أكثر عدد من المدينين ومحكومين عليهم، بيحتفلوا بهالذكرى ب 26 كانون الثاني لمن وصلت أول سفينة بريطانية حاملة مساجين.
ورح نتعرف على شخصية لبنانية بارزة وناجحة بلبنان ولكن عندها دور مهم جدا بالاغتراب، السيد نعمة فريم. ورح نتعرف على الوعود اللي عملوها الشخصيات الأسترالية من أصل لبناني، لكن من بعد هالبريك. كان عندي لقاء خاص مع السيد نعمت فريم، رئيس التنفيذي لشركة إندفكو ورئيس مؤسسة المارونية للانتشار، اللي عطانا رأيه بالسيزن بأستراليا، وأيضا أفكار ممكن تبني وطن أفضل. خلينا مع هالمقابلة. السيد نعمت فريم، أهلا وسهلا فيك، ونحن بنتشكرك أنك استضفتنا هون ببيتك بجونية. حضرتك الرئيس التنفيذي لشركة إندفكو وأيضا رئيس مؤسسة المارونية للانتشار. اليوم بشرفني أن أكون عندك بالبيت وعم نحكي عن قصة نجاح بدأت بلبنان وبقيت وكبرت بلبنان، قصة الوالد الله يرحمه جورج فريم اللي هو اسم من التاريخ ما في شك، وحضرتك حامل الشعلة، وفينا نقول يعني بكل فخر أنه حضرتك مثل الوالد ماشي على ذات الخطى. خبرنا اليوم كيف انطلقت وليه حبيت أنك تحمل الشعلة، وكيف بدأ الوالد، لأنه بنعرف يمكن حضرتك كانت أهين من أنك تحمل شعلة إذا بدنا نقول النجاح وتمشي فيها، بس كانت صعبة أنك تبقى فيها. بس كيف بدأ الوالد وليه بقيتوا بلبنان أنتوا اللي عندكم اهتمام كتير كبير بالاغتراب؟
أول شيء أهلا وسهلا فيك ببيتنا بجوني بذات الوقت بلبنان. من بعد هالسفرة الطويلة يلي عملتيها ويلي فرجيتينا وجاه اللبنانية كتير بنفتخر فيهم، وللأسف كل ما بنشوف قد ايه ناجح اللبناني بالعالم بنفكر ليه عم نفشل بلبنان، ليه لبنان كمنظومة عم يفشل. يعني النجاح الفردي ما عم يتحول لنجاح جماعي، هيدي المشكلة كتير كبيرة. وهلا بركي معنا وقت نحكي عنها كمان. تجاوبك على السؤال، أنا بعتبر الوالد أول شيء بشكرك، لأنه أنا بعتبر الوالد كان ملهمة ومعلمة ورفيق فترة كبيرة من حياتي العملية.
نعم.
أنا بعتبره اللي عمله إنجاز كتير كبير، أنه يطلع من عائلة 8 إخوة وبنات وشباب قطعوا بأيام كتير صعبة ماديا، كانوا هن بمستوى شوي أحسن أيام جده قبل الحرب ال14. بحرب ال14 عندما تغير جبل لبنان كان عنده معمل نجارة جده، انتهت، أخذوا كل المكانات، فكوا المكانات وأخذوها. رجعوا بأيام كتير صعبة وكتير عاطلة.
يمكن هيدي يعني من الصفر.
يمكن هيدي خلت بنفس الوالد بفكره الصناعة، لأنه شاف يمكن أول منشار شلة إجا على لبنان كان عند جده. كان معاه كانت منجرة ولكن على نفس صناعي، فإذا بقيت أو انزرعت بذرة الصناعة وقتها في قلبه. هيك كبرت وصار في نجاح. وأنا بعتبر كان النجاح الأول أنه يطلع من المستوى المادي بشكل أنه يقدر يكفي حاله ويكفي إخواته وعائلته. النجاح الثاني بعتبره أنه كانوا سوا كأخوة، هو وإخواته واتحدوا، هذا نجاح ثاني كتير مهم، وهذا كتير مهم. النجاح الثالث أنه قبل يبقى بلبنان وضل بلبنان بالحرب كلها، وكان تحدي كتير كبير علينا. وأنا هون كنت يعني واعي قد كان عطول نحن بدنا نبقى بلبنان كلنا سوا، والأيام عم تقلنا والأشاير عم تقلنا لا لازم تروحوا لبرا، وما رحنا.
بتندم اليوم على هالقرار؟
لا بالعكس، أنا بعتبر أول شيء أنا كشخص بعتبر حالي صقلت بالحرب اللبنانية بالعالم، بانتشارنا بالعالم. كنت عم بلحق العالم، ما عم بخرج من التاريخ بس يتقوقع بحرب داخلية، بس بذات الوقت عم عيش خبرة إنسانية وعملية كتير كبيرة بتطورك كتير بقدرة التأقلم والتفكير اللي بنسميه out of the box إذا بدك، خارج عن التقليدي. وهيدي كانت كتير بتشبه شوي شخصيتي أنا، يلي من أنا وصغير بحب عطول بفكر شوي خارج التقليد. من هيك بعائلتي أنا فتت بالهندسة للعمق، طورت هالأفكار. من هون شفت أنه كتير كان عندي تحدي كبير، أنه لحظة القلت لا أنا بدي كمل، ما بدي أسس شيء جديد. وهذا قرار كتير كبير بعمر معين لكل ولد.
في شك.
وخاصة إذا بيو ناجح
مظبوط.
بيكون في قرار دقيق. هل أنا
بدي
بخاف كون بفي نجاح كبير حدي ولا لا؟ أنا بالعكس بدي عمر وكبر وما استحي بالفي. أكيد. بالعكس افتخر وإذا بقدر أعمل أنا كمان شجرة وأعمل في فيها ما بتكون عاطلة.
حلو كتير. أكيد.
هيدي الصورة بمرحلة من حياتي كانت قرار مهم.
نعم.
أخذته. أنا اليوم بعتبر بعد 30 سنة أو 25 سنة عمل بعتبر كان خيار صائب.
ما في شك. أنا بأكد لك
اللي عملته بعتبر أنه كملت. أول شيء ضميري مرتاح كتير. ما فيك تعرفي قدام مرتاح. النتائج بعتبرها اجت قد الأمال. العمل يعني العمل بأرض خصبة مفلوحة كان سريع أكتر من ما واحد بده يفلح أرض. مزبوط. ويزرع فيها. وخاصة وهون بنشوف تكامل الأجيال. كتير مهم نتعلم نكمل الأجيال بلبنان.
مزبوط. وهي هاي أكيد
ما يكون هالصراع الأجيال يكون يعني بيجي على حساب النتيجة. يعني مين بيدفع حقها؟ المجتمع بيدفع حقها أنه النجاح بيجي أصغر بس يكون في الأجيال عم تتصارع مش عم تتكامل.
مزبوط. حلو كتير. اليوم بتعتبر حالك أنك بلبنان قدرت تنجح أسهل من لو اغتربت وبلشت من مشي مثل ما عم حضرنا يعني وحضرت حضرتك كل هالحلقات بأستراليا بتشوف كل هالسكسس ستوريز بلشوا من مشي اغتربوا تعبوا زعلوا حنوا للوطن انقهروا. بتلاقي انه انت كانت اهين مسيرتك بلبنان او لا؟
ليكي بكل صراحة بعتبر كانت مش أقل صعوبة. خاصة هلا كمان بدنا نقول انه نحن مش كنا بلبنان بس كنا بلبنان وبرا يعني مزبوط. عشنا نوع من الاغتراب ولكن مش اغتراب قد ما هو سفر مزبوط. او انتشار اذا بدي. ولكن واحد يقدر اول شيء ياخذ قرار انه يبقى بلبنان بالخطر والطلب على من حاله انه ينجح بظرف هالقد صعب عندما بيكون المنافسة. وهيدي الشغلة المهمة. المنافسة عندها ظروف أحسن. يعني أنا مستعد قاتل ونافس أنا ومنافسي بذات الشروط أنه بلده مثل بلدي كهربته مثل كهربتي طرقاته مثل طرقاتي.
صعبة شوي.
ما عنده أنابل ما عندي أنابل وما عنده أنابل. ما عنده استقرار وعندي استقرار او ما عنده استقرار وانا ما عندي استقرار ونقاتل سوا وبنشوف مين اقوى. نعم. وبسموها سرفايفل اوف ذا فيتست.
مزبوط.
بينتصر الاقوى.
مزبوط.
اما بس تكوني انت عندك كل شيء ضدك وهو عنده كل شيء معه وتنتصري انا بقول لك كثير 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 صعب. من هيك انا بدي حيي كل لبناني بقي بلبنان ونجح.
معك حق ما في شك.
لانه هيدا عن جد مقاومه للطبيعه.
كبير.
يعني أنا كنت أقول إذا كنت رئيس جمعية الصناعيين كل صناعي بعده اليوم بلبنان
عايش.
هيدا مثل البسينة بتسعة أرواح ما بموت. ما بتقدروا تقتلوه حتى لو غيرتوا القوانين لأنه اللي عملوا بالصناعة بلبنان اللي عمل بالصناعة بلبنان غير الحرب اللبنانية. حتى القوانين نحن وصلنا بلبنان بزمن ما بدنا بقى صناعة بلبنان. صار في نفس بلبنان أنه بلا الصناعة. خلينا نحن بلد خدمات من برا. نحن بلد مفتوح. نحن تعالوا سهروا عنا وتعالوا انبسطوا عنا.
ما سياحة بس
ما تعذبوا حالكم بالباقي. في ناس قالت لا نحن بدنا ناكل من انتاجنا
صناعة في
لأنه بنعتبر أنه بس تكوني عم تصنعي في لبنان عمل السياحي بيصير مفعول ومردوده أكبر.
مزبوط.
لأنه بس السائح يصرف بلبنان بيكون عم يصرف من المنتج اللبناني. يعني
أفضل.
يعني المبلغ اللي بيصرفه كأنه صرف 3 أو 4 مرات
لأنه كل المردود
بقى بلبنان. مزبوط. من هيك كتير مهم الاقتصاد الوطني
ما في شك.
يكون شقفة كبيرة منه صناعة.
ومن هيك عم تخلق بتكون كمان فرص
عمل. هيدا بتصور لازم يكون أساس لتفكير لبناني جديد.
حلو كتير.
كيف نحن منحول نجاح اللبناني الفردي لنجاح جماعي. كيف تحطي هالسيستم هالمنظومة؟ كيف بتحطي تقاطع بين الدفع والروح المبادرة عند اللبناني الفردية اللينية بذات الخط مع المصلحة الجماعية؟ كيف بتصفيهم على بعضهم لتقدري هو وعم تحقق ذاته اللبناني وعم يبدع اللبناني عم بيفيد مش عم يدمر
المجتمع.
مش عم يدمر.
هيدي كثير هالفكرة وهي صعبة
منظومة. هي أصعب منظومة
لأنه اللبناني انديفيدياليست.
بعدنا لليوم بعد ما اكتشفناها بلبنان. وأنا بقول لك أنا بعتبر بعالم صغير اكتشفتها.
حلو.
والأرقام عم
بتشاركنا فيها
والأرقام عم بتثبتها.
نعم.
كيف نقدر نخلق هالمنظومة هيدي؟ الفيدباك لوب أنا بسميها. هالربط التفاعلي اللي بتقدر تخلقيه اللي بتخلقيه هو سر النجاح. كيف بنعملها سريعة؟ كيف بنعملها نقية للمعلومة تجي، أو المعلومة أو القراءة، أوقات معلومة أوقات قراءة، تجي صافية بشكل ومجهزة لواحد يستغلها لتنفيذ، لتتحول لأداة أو باز لواحد ياخذ قرار عليها، ليبني قرارات عليها. هيدي إذا بدك هيك خبرة صغيرة، إذا بتسأليني شو اللي خلى اندفكوا بهالسنين